So, good afternoon, traders. I hope you had a nice weekend. It's just coming up to 2 p.m. here in the UK, and today is Monday, the 25th of April 2022. So, let me just check that the audio is working fine. It seems to be working fine, and the visual is also working fine. So, let's crack on. So what we've got here is, again, the heat map from the traditional finance world, and you can see that everything is pretty much in the red, with very, very few exceptions. So yeah, the great majority of the traditional finance is in the red, and this is obviously still a remnant of the announcement that the United States and Federal Reserve of the United States of America has announced a 50 basis points increase on interest rates starting in May. So there's no end to this until that FOMC meeting at the beginning of May. So anyway, so that's the stock heat map for the beginning of the week. And that's how all the markets opened, all in the red. And if you look at the cryptocurrency markets, they're also all in the red, with very few exceptions, with APE and Dogecoin, and yeah, that's really it pretty much. There's just very, very few coins in the green. So why is it important, and why do I always go back to the traditional finance markets? Well, if you've not been paying attention, you will notice if you've been paying attention, you will notice that Bitcoin follows very closely to the S&P 500, okay, so the S&P Mini. And so this is why I always look at the traditional finance world first, and then look at the cryptocurrency markets as well. So what I wanted to see, and if you're in any doubt of that, I wanted to show you here, this is basically the S&P 500 in a blue line, okay, and the Bitcoin in the orange line, of course, and you can see how closely it follows. Okay, sometimes one leads the other, and then it's swapping and it changes again, and sometimes Bitcoin's leading, sometimes the S&P is leading. Okay, but regardless of this, you can see, for example, here the S&P is trying to move up, and yet the Bitcoin chart is still lagging. Okay, so either way, you can see that this correlation is real, and it's not just like some sort of meme that you've heard about on crypto Twitter or whatever. I just wanted to illustrate this so that you guys know what that it is true. Okay, so it's very closely related, and it's no surprise. There's an explanation for this. Most of the Bitcoin trades right now are the big volume, if you like, the volume that actually moves the market are from institutional trading, and of course high frequency trading, which is with bots and algorithms. So it's no surprise really that you see this correlation with the traditional finance markets, and if the traditional finance is dumping, then Bitcoin will follow and dump as well. So why am I showing you this? Well, because if we can track basically the S&P, then we've got a pretty good idea of where Bitcoin is going to go. And if we know where Bitcoin is going to go, then we have a pretty good idea of where the rest of the crypto market is going to go. So let's start with the S&P today. And I'm looking here at the daily chart. And the daily chart on the S&P is looking pretty bearish. So what I've got here is basically the 2021 VWAP, okay? So this is a volume weighted average price. And you can see that the price had been respecting that value area high, or if you like, the +1 standard deviation throughout the year, okay? So with a bit of an exception here at the beginning, because it was quite tight there still, and up until March 2021, there was no real the VWAP is basically very young yet, so it hadn't really set a range as such. But you can see here that on the 25th of March, so very close to the end of the first quarter, the price bounced off the VWAP, and then it just been bouncing on that standard deviation, and it did so until the turn of 2021 onto 2022. And now on 2022, we see that the price is kind of like been trending above and below the current year's VWAP, which is this squiggly line here, right? And we even went all the way to the standard deviation, to the first standard deviation, and then we came back down. However, if we're still looking at this one here, if we're looking at the 2021 VWAP standard deviation, we are right on the close of the 2021 VWAP right now. Okay, this also has confluence with this low volume area here, 4245, okay, which is exactly where we are right now. Okay, so basically the price has just kind of gone beyond, you know, a little bit below, and it's gone straight back to that. So this is a very crucial time for the S&P really, and for the whole of the markets, if you like, because if we lose this level here, then the next low volume area is way down here, okay, on the edge of the higher volume cluster here. So you can see this is another high volume cluster, this is another area of balance, okay. So we've got a balance here, and we've got a bit of a balance there, okay. So you can see now that we're kind of like tending in between these two areas of balance, okay. Losing this value, this area here, and accepting within this value area here, right, within this high volume cluster, means that we'll most likely travel to the other side of it. There's such low volume at the bottom of it that I wouldn't be surprised that it would come and test the edge of this significant value area here, okay, of this balance area, all right. And this has confluence with the value area low, or the -1 standard deviation of the 2021 VWAP close, okay. This is basically where it closed in 2021. So what would be, why am I showing you this? Well, the drop from there to this projected level here, okay, is around about 6 to 7%, okay, 6.88, okay, let's just say 7% just to be on the safe side, okay. So that's a 7% drop if we lose this level, okay. You can see here on the right hand side that, you know, 0.5% of the ES dump is almost double that on Bitcoin, okay. You can see here that we've got 1.7%. So basically what it's telling you is that Bitcoin is basically just a delta or a beta version of the ES. So what I mean by that is just a little bit more volatile, not quite as stable because obviously for less liquidity, version of the S&P. So a 6% drop on the ES would be really significant on Bitcoin, okay. So that's why I wanted to show you this. We're kind of at a crucial stage here on the ES, and really the bears are like rubbing their hands together, hoping that we lose this, because if we lose this, then this is the next level of support here, around about 4,000, okay. If, however, we hold this level, then we've got a very strong chance to come at least to this first standard deviation, to the -1 standard deviation, which is the edge of this balance here. Okay, so that's the S&P, and that's the analysis that I'm going to do on that, just so that you guys know we are kind of at the bottom. It's perhaps the best opportunity there is to buy right now at the moment on the S&P for the time being, but it's not looking too clever, right? We kind of entered the 2021 VWAP, we bounced there a couple of times, we come in, tested the first standard deviation, and then we got rejected. And it got rejected from the currency of VWAP and all the way down here. So it's not looking, you know, the chart is telling us that we, you know, that we could potentially see much lower prices. But we just trade what the level to level, and we just trade what the charts are telling us right now. And it's telling us right now that we kind of held that, or we got rejected from the lower half of this standard deviation. So let's just wait and see what happens. So that's the S&P. So how does this relate to Bitcoin? So I want you to forget the S&P for a minute, and I just want to look at Bitcoin here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify all of this by taking a higher time frame approach. And I just wanted to show you something here. In fact, let me just take this, the moving averages off, okay? So what we've got here is the oldest, to my knowledge anyway, it's the oldest Bitcoin chart in existence. This goes all the way back to 2011, and this is the Bitstamp weekly chart, if you like, okay? So you can see that there's a trend of, well, a parallel channel here, parallel trend channel, that I've put on just to sort of like show you more or less where we are in the market. And you can see here, once we'd lost that halfway mark, the equilibrium, we kind of dumped a little bit, and then we came and tested that halfway mark. we dumped again, we tested the bottom of the channel, came up to the top here, and we've kind of been getting stuck in this kind of halfway market equilibrium, and that's basically where we are right now, okay, including the all-time high. That was just equilibrium and the halfway mark on this chart, okay. So right now we're in the middle of nowhere according to this parallel channel. We're kind of like sort of on our way down, if you like, to the mid-20s. But I wanted to draw your attention to something else. I wanted to draw your attention to the moving averages, okay, and this is the weekly moving averages, and I've got basically a 50 and a 200. Now historically you can see that every time we've lost the 50-week moving average, as you can see here, we've lost it. In fact, we've lost it here, and we come all the way to the 200, okay, and that's where we bounced there, okay. So again, we bounced, we went all the way up, it came and tested it, as you can see here. We've lost it here, right? The market decided that it wasn't quite time to dump yet. It came and tested it just for confirmation, and boom, there it is. It tested perfectly the 50-week moving average, and it dumped from there. In fact, it went a little bit sideways like that, and then it dumped. And where does it bounce? It bounces exactly on the 200-week moving average. Okay, and I know this is not a big sample size on it, okay, there's only like 4 bounces, if you like, but you know, Bitcoin is just a nascent technology, and it's only like 10 years old, so, or 12 years old or whatever, so you make of that what you will. But you can see here again, we bounced on the 50, and then we lost it, and when we lost it, it bounced again on the 200. Okay, once we reclaimed that, boom, off to the races, off we rallied. Okay, here we had a bounce on the 50, we had another bounce on the 50, and then it found a little bit of resistance here at that halfway point of that trending channel that I was showing you, and then we kind of trended here just above that 50, and again we've lost it at the beginning of the year, right? So we've lost that 50 moving average, the 50 week, and very similar to what we've done. Where was it? Here, right? We've lost it, and we came and retested it, and that's exactly what we've done here. We've lost it, and now we've come and retested it, and we got rejected. Okay, so this rejection is a little bit telling, and it could be that we could come all the way back to the 50, which is around about 21,500. Now let's see if this has got any confluence. Of course, this is just a weekly chart, right? So it's a higher time frame. This is not going to happen overnight, but I just wanted to show you that. If you put that trending channel there, or the parallel channel if you like, it has perfect confluence. The bottom of that channel has almost perfect confluence there with the 200 moving average. Okay, the 200 week moving average. So it is possible that this is just the beginning of a very large correction on Bitcoin, especially if the S&P decides to dump another 6 or 7%. Okay, so how much would that be in terms of percentage terms? That would be around about another 40%. So that's huge, right? I mean, am I saying that we're definitely doing this? No, I'm just giving you a higher time frame sort of reference point to see, and if this is anything to go by, then you know this is potentially what could be happening in the next sort of like couple of months or so. So we'll have to wait and see, right? So anyway, that's the higher time frame for the weekly. I just wanted to show you that because obviously it is something that I noticed, and it's good to do a top-down approach and just look at where we are in the markets, looking at the S&P, looking at the weekly chart, and just seeing where we are, okay, so that we've got a little bit of context of where the markets are right now. So looking at the Bitcoin chart without the moving averages and looking at it on the daily, and again I'm going to put the VPVR and I'm going to put all the 4 charts here. Okay, so we've got the daily on the top left hand corner here. So this is the daily chart with a yearly VWAP. On the right hand side here we've got the quarterly VWAPs on an 8-hour chart, and then here we've got the 4-hour chart on the bottom right hand corner with a 4-hour chart with the monthly VWAP. Okay, and you can see here that the crosshairs that I'm moving around kind of like they're global, right? So they populate on all charts at the same time. Okay, so this is why I pay attention to this, because it gives me a sort of a higher time frame kind of look on it, where I could be looking at the 12-hour chart or the daily chart, and it gives me levels on the lower time frame charts. Okay, and vice versa, I could be looking at the 4-hour chart and it gives me levels here for the on the top left hand corner here on the daily. So where do I think that Bitcoin is going right now? Right, well, if we put here the balance areas, you can see very clearly that we've kind of like entered this balance area here, right? So let me just move this slightly. Okay, so this is basically this whole volume cluster, okay, highlighted in a red rectangle. All right, so you know, this goes all the way down to 30,000. Either way, what did happen is that we entered this balance area. Okay, here we had got rejected a couple of times, but here we entered this balance area, we got rejected from the top, and now we're on our way down. So where are the potential targets that I'm looking for? All right, so I'm going to put some lines here. We've already kind of almost tested this area here, which is around about $38,000, and like I said to you guys on Friday, there's another level down here, which is basically the value area low, or the -1 standard deviation for the 2021 VWAP at around about 35,800. Okay, so let's just take the balance areas off. So we're definitely entering a new balance area, which is basically, if you like, basically this kind of like lower distribution of this volume profile. Okay, so if we look at this, so just for this year's, okay, let's just see if this lower level lines up with anything else. And you can see here that we've got a couple of low volume nodes here that kind of have confluence with this lower area here. Okay, so the value area low of the or the -1 standard deviation of the 2021 VWAP. So again, that's around about 35,800, 35,500, something like that. All right, so that's one area that I'm looking for, but it does look like we could bounce here as well on at $38,000. If we look at this in comparison with the quarterly chart, and you can see here I've got this level here, which is around about 38,000, 37,700, something like that, for the previous quarter value area low, or -1 standard deviation. Okay, but then also if you look at the last quarter of 2021, you can see this level here, right, which we've bounced on a couple of times, and that lines up round about here, $36,000, okay, which has perfect confluence with this. So again, I'm looking for confluence, and I'm looking at these levels, and I say, okay, these two line up definitely. So the yearly value area low and the quarterly or the previous quarter value area low as well, right, for the last quarter of 2021. Now if we look at the 4-hour chart here on the bottom right hand corner, you can see that we've got a poor low there, and we've also got equal lows. So before this rally, I thought that we were actually going to raid these and sort of like come down like this before we rallied up. However, we didn't do that. We just kind of rallied up straight from there. But we've left a value area low way down here, which I think, again, 36,500. So I think that this level is an important level, and is potentially the level where we're going to be going to next. Okay, so again, these low volume nodes here. All right, there's also a significant low volume area here around about $37,000, which lines up perfectly with this level here. But I don't want to overcomplicate things too much. I think if we were to come all the way down here, I'd be very surprised if we didn't take out these equal lows and print a capitulation candle, like a big sort of wick to the downside, to make everybody panic sell. All right, so that's what I'm looking at right now. If I look again, go back to the daily chart. Okay, so what I'm looking for really is seeing Bitcoin losing this level here, right? And then doing a big sort of like capitulation candle all the way down here to around about 35,800, something like that, right? And then a rally from there. All right, if you were to put a trend line here, it doesn't quite fit, which is fair enough. It doesn't quite fit there, but to put it there sort of thing, doesn't fit either. So either way, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to follow the trend line. Either way, what I'm saying is that we've got a low here, got a higher low, and if this did come all the way down here to 35,800, something like that, it would print a higher low yet again. Okay, so this would still be constructive price action. However, this for me really is the line in the sand, right? 35.8, so you know, $36,000. This is the line in the sand, and if we lose this level, then I think we're going to go much lower. All right, but for now, I think this is the level that you should be targeting to the downside, if you like. All right, so where does this whole thing get invalidated? Well, of course, if we bounce here, right, and we find acceptance, I'll have to show you on the other chart. Let's have a look at the 4-hour chart here. So if we bounce here and find acceptance back inside of this, you can see this here, right? It bounced there. Here we raided the lows and we rallied, and then it bounced there again, right? So the weekly open at round about 39,300. If we can print back above this and confirm this as support, then I think we've got a very good chance to coming all the way back up to at least to $41,000, okay, to the top of this range here. You can see that in this rally they got rejected here on this month's VWAP, okay, but it had been struggling to get even just inside of the -1 standard deviation. All right, so we did break above it, we confirmed that as support here, and then we rallied all the way to the monthly VWAP. Then it came down, it bounced on that first standard deviation, but it didn't have enough strength to carry on up, so we just came back down. And now we're kind of like, we've lost that level, but we haven't even tested this previous level down here. So I think we've got some more room to the downside, but the invalidation, so basically the bullish case scenario, is for now, the main thing is reclaiming this level here, which is also a low volume area, at around about 39,300. If we can reclaim this like this, right, and then print a higher high here, right, so if we can print something higher than this, like this, means that we've just entered this -1 standard deviation here, right? So this squiggly line that you can see here, right? So if we enter here, this for me is an entry for a long, and I'll be targeting these levels up here, right? So about $41,000, $42,000. Okay, and then we'll have to wait and see what happens at these levels up here. But that's the invalidation. Basically, I want to see a clear reclaim of the 39,500 level, or 39,300 to be precise. And if we can do that, then I want to see a market structure break here above $40,000, which is basically the previous resistance there. If we can break that $40,000, then I think that even if we come all the way up here like this and then come all the way back down again, for me this is bullish, right? This is telling me that this is just a pullback, and this low volume area here is basically my entry for a long, and I want to be targeting around about $41,000. So that's the scenario for the bulls, but it's really imperative that we reclaim this level here and then break above this level here. Okay, so that's what I want to see. I want to see something like this. Okay, so that's the case for the bulls, and for the bears you've already got the levels. I'm looking at 35,800, something like that. Okay, so let's have a look at Exocharts and see if we can spot anything significant that adds confluence to this. So we were looking at round about 35,800, right? So if you look here to the downside, this is a volume profile, this is a daily volume profile. You can see that we've got a naked point of control at round about 35,600. So again, that's confluence, right? And if you look at this, that's not far off that value area low. This line here is basically the value area low of this whole composite volume profile of the whole range, if you like. Okay, but importantly, I want to draw your eyes to this naked point of control that sticks out like a sore thumb here. Okay, so any significant pullback to the to lower levels would almost certainly come and take this 35,800. That would clear out the equal lows here. It would clear out this poor low here that I'll show you on the market profile in just a second, and it would cause tremendous panic in the markets. Okay, so that's basically what these whales and these institutions are looking for. They're looking for massive sell orders to come in, but the panic sellers, so that they can fill their long positions, and that's basically a game of liquidity. So that's on the volume profile. I can see it clearly here, 35,600, 35,800. So just below 36,000 is a level of interest. So if I look at the market profile here, I've got this really zoomed out, but you can see as well, I've got 35,600 is the naked point of control here. Can't remember if this is, oh yeah, this is volume based. So even if I take away from volume based and I go on to normal time based charts and change the calculation, you can see here 35,500 is still very much that naked point of control that is sticking out like a sore thumb. Okay, and like I said, it's very close to that value area low here of the composite volume profile for the last 10 months or so. 36,600 is the value area high of this profile here, so this could cause a little bit of a bounce here. It would also go below all of this consolidation here, which is interesting. So, but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. For me, this is the area that I'm looking for, and the area that I find interesting in looking for longs, at least on a higher time frame. Okay, and then of course finding a bounce here could take us, it could find resistance in all of these low volume nodes that we've now got above us, okay, including around about $40,000 and $37,000 if we do come all the way down here. Again, I'm still giving you a higher time frame kind of view on the markets. I'm not telling you what's going to happen in this sort of like in the next couple of days or whatever. Okay, so you can draw from that what you will. Looking at, I'm not going to look at footprints, I think it's pointless. Okay, but from the next couple of days, just to give you a sort of like a shorter time frame kind of scenario, okay, this is basically what I want to see in order for us to have a chance to go back to $41,000. all right, so we want to see a reclaim of 39.3 and then hopefully a break above, even if it's just a spike above 40,000, a market structure break. Okay, but this level here, 39,300, 39,500, has to hold. Okay, you can see here we've got a high volume cluster here, right, and it just has this low volume area here has perfect confluence with this level that I'm looking for. So this is a key level, and we want to reclaim that in order to maintain bullish momentum. But for the time being, what I see is just this going lower and lower, and we could even come and test these levels here, but failing to reclaim that means that we are going to go much lower. Potentially, again, 35,800 is the level that I'm looking for. Okay, so that's on the lower time frames what I'm looking for. I'm looking for lower prices, and now you know where I'm looking to buy and where I'm looking to sell. All right, so 40,000 remains resistance here. Okay, so even a spike all the way up here to $40,000, failure to reclaim that means that it's just a rejection, and we're going to go much lower. All right, so I think that covers it for Bitcoin. Yeah, I would just say keep an eye on the S&P and keep an eye on the daily chart here on Bitcoin. And there's really not much else to be said. Okay, $41,000 is basically this year's VWAP, as you can see here, right? Exactly at $41,000. All right, so this is basically a level that I'll be looking to sell. You can see that this is basically a middle distribution here in terms of balance, right? So you can see that that's basically us trying to reclaim this level means that it really needs to break above it and hold it. Okay, and then this level here, this low volume area, or imbalance, if you like, needs to hold as support. Okay, that would give us a chance to go all the way to $45,000, but I'm not seeing that right now. All I see is weakness, right? We're seeing the price just kind of go lower and lower and lower, so we're still looking for buyers. So again, the buyers would be somewhere around about here, potentially here, but I think we're going to go a little bit lower and test these areas down here. Bullish momentum, again, like I said, it needs to reclaim $41,000. Okay, so that trade that I'm talking about of going all the way to 41,000, that's really just a scalp. Okay, and the lower time frames, scalp for the next couple of days, 3 days, to play out during the week. All right, that's basically that reclaim of 39,300, and then play a little scalp all the way to 41,000. The bullish momentum starts here above 41. Okay, then we've got a chance of going to 45,000. Until then, it's bear momentum. All right, I hope that is clear. I just wanted to clarify that. So 41,000 remains key level, and if we look at the Deribit metrics, we are today on the 25th. So in 4 days, we've got an expiry for the month of April. And we've got $1.8 billion of notional value for this contract. This is just for the month of April. And we've got the max pain price, which is basically where most of these contracts will expire worthless. And the max pain price, coincidentally, is $41,000. So maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's not, but $41,000 is that level. Okay, so is it possible that we kind of reclaim that level and we scalp all the way to $41,000 before the 29th? Yes, it is possible. Okay, especially now that everybody's looking at lower prices because this looks so bearish, right? So everybody is thinking we're going to zero, we're going to 25,000. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a little rally to $41,000, and on the 29th, or the end of the month, end up round about $41,000. Okay, so what remains to be seen is if we can break above that. All right, so just keep that in mind. Okay, $41,000 is definitely a key level, and the line in the sand. Okay, so the last sort of bear defense, if you like. All right, so that's it for Bitcoin. Let's move on to Ethereum. That was quite an extensive technical analysis update for Bitcoin, but I've been away for a week and I just thought I'd give you a little bit of a top-down approach for everything so that you guys know where we are in terms of context. So looking at Ethereum here, we are basically, we've tested both sides of this balance, as you can see here, right, 3,600. Once we came out of this lower balance area, we reclaimed that, so we came in, tested this, confirmed this as support, and we rallied to the other side. Okay, so then we got rejected, and of course we go straight to the other side of it. Here we are below 2022's VWAP. Okay, we've just tested that yesterday, and we got a rejection there as well, as you can see here. Right, so now we've come and test this lower value, or this lower distribution balance area, if you like, whatever you want to call it, and we've just got rejected from there. So this is a good sign for Ethereum, but it really depends on what Bitcoin does. Okay, because we all know that, and I keep repeating this every single time, but if Bitcoin decides to dump, it doesn't matter what TAI do on Ethereum and all the other DeFi coins. Bitcoin is like the barometer, and if it dumps, it drags everything down with it. So the kind of the saving grace here for Ethereum is that even if if it looks like we're getting acceptance inside of this lower balance distribution, is that we've got the 2021 VWAP that closed around about $2,700. Okay, so this is the line in the sand for the bulls, for the Ethereum bulls. Okay, we closed below this, and I think we've got a very good chance to come and test at least to round about $2,000. Okay, but for now it does look like we've got a little rejection there. So it rejected right on the lower balance there, on the previous balance. So let me just get this highlighted here. Right, as you can see here, that's exactly where we got rejected, on the previous balance, this green rectangle, if you like. So now what we want to see for the bulls is basically a reclaim of this level here. Okay, so we want to see a reclaim of $2,900, but we've still got this VWAP here at around about $3,000, okay, or $2,980. the bullish momentum for Ethereum would be to break above this and confirm this as support. Okay, if it does that, then I think we've got a very good chance, if Bitcoin behaves, of going at least to $3,300, potentially back to $3,500, $3,600 level. But until we see that, there is no indication of this. Okay, so we've got to trade what the charts tell us, and basically the charts telling us that we're testing lower volume, lower levels. Okay, so we could potentially, so there's two scenarios here, right? We either reclaim this and we go higher, or we come all the way back here and we find a rejection again, right? Either at this VWAP or at the edge of this previous balance of the orange rectangle, right? And if we test this and we get rejected, then any previous retest or any subsequent retest of this level is an entry for a short, and I think we'll be targeting much lower levels down here. Okay, so basically what we want to see is failure for the bears, right? Failure to reclaim this, come back below, and then retest it again, right? This would be the confirmation of much lower prices coming. All right, of course, the antithesis of this is, like I said, reclaiming this level and then breaking straight through that yearly VWAP at round about $3,000. Okay, if we break straight through that and we manage to hold that as support, then, you know, if Bitcoin behaves, then we've got a very good chance to going all the way back to 3,500. We'll have to wait and see. If Bitcoin's just going sideways, then I think there's a strong chance that Ethereum will rally. But if Bitcoin continues dumping, then who knows, right? I think it's lower prices for Ethereum. But yeah, right now it's difficult to say because we are in an imbalance area. We're not inside balance. We don't see any confirmation of balance here. We don't see any confirmation of I don't see a rejection or confirmation of acceptance. So we're kind of an imbalance area. I'll have another TA update for you guys on Wednesday, and we can have a better look at this and see if there's any more information, any valuable information that I can go from. Okay, but this could potentially be, it's in the middle of nowhere, right? So this could potentially be a really good long position, a long trade to go all the way to 3,600, but it could also be a rejection here and a very good entry for a short targeting these levels down here. So for me, this is in a trade zone right now. I want to see confirmation, and I've already explained what the confirmation looks like, so there we are. So anyway, let's move on to Ethereum on Exocharts, so that we can see if we can spot any sort of confluence here. So interestingly, on Ethereum, we can see here, this is the daily volume profile. We've taken the $2,800 naked point of control here. We're trying to reclaim this kind of, this range here, the basically this high volume cluster. And again, it depends. We're in an imbalance area, right? This low volume area. Acceptance above means that we'll most certainly come and test these levels higher up. Acceptance below means that we'll almost certainly come and test these levels down here. Interestingly, we've got a naked point of control here at $3,000, or $3,096 to be precise. But we also have naked points of control around about $2,670 and around about $2,550. Okay, so we've got anomalies on both sides. All right, so and then much lower as well at around about $2,250. So that's on the volume profile. Let's have a look at the market profile on the daily and see if we find any confirmation or any confluence. So like I said, we're in an imbalance area here. We're in a low volume area, and we're trying to find acceptance above or trying to find acceptance below. This is a weird distribution here. You know, potentially, if Bitcoin behaves, it's just going sideways, we could see a rejection up here at $2,900 and then come all the way to $2,678 or $2,700. It's a naked point of control there, and an edge of a high volume cluster. So I want you guys to be a little bit careful here, because if Bitcoin is just going sideways and Ethereum decides to go on a tear down, right? So if it gets all the way up here, finds a rejection and starts going down, this could potentially be an area for a bounce, because it's also the edge of a high volume cluster. Okay, so we could see a little bounce here. So don't just go short up here upon that confirmation and then just expect the price to go straight down to $2,000. Okay, we've got a naked party control here at around about $2,670. I think I said it was. Let's just make sure that that's right. Yeah, 2,680. Let's say 2,700 just to be on the safe side. And this could be, because it has confluence with the edge of this volume cluster, it could be a level that where it would bounce from. Okay, so that's it for Ethereum. 2,700 is also that 2021 VWAP, right? So here we are. If the price was to find a rejection there and come all the way down here, where that naked point of control is exactly round about this area here. Alright, so we could see a little bounce here. It's the first standard deviation, or the -1 standard deviation of the current year's VWAP, and it's also the 2021 VWAP. So strong support there, and we could potentially see a bounce there. Alright, so just be mindful of that if you're in any shorts. Okay, it's definitely an area to take profit round about here. Okay, so that's Ethereum versus USD. Let's move on to Ethereum BTC, see if I can see anything significant. I'm going to take these brush marks here off. Interestingly, we like I said on Friday to you guys, we kind of broke above that first standard deviation of the current year's VWAP, and we bounced there a couple of times, and we started seeing a little bit of weakness, not significant, but just a little bit of weakness here, where the price is going sideways. It's bounced, basically, you can see here, it's bounced on the first standard deviation so far. So again, it's showing signs of strength, and judging by this here, it's outperforming Bitcoin as far as I can see it. Okay, there's a little bit of a break in market structure here, because obviously this was a low and we've just gone below it, but this could be just a small deviation, right? So again, what I want to see on Ethereum BTC is a break above this level of resistance here. All right, if we break above this, then we almost certainly come and test 80,000 sats, or 82,000 sats, 81,500, something like that. Okay, so this was previous resistance, resistance, resistance. We've just come and tested that as support. Excuse me. And now what we want to see, so this was a low, higher low again, and another one, and this was a higher low, and now we've kind of like peaked below it with high volume, but we're kind of bouncing above. So what would null this market structure break here would be basically breaking above these highs. If we break above those highs, then it's off to the races, and I think Ethereum will continue to outperform Bitcoin for the foreseeable future. So just keep an eye on the ETH BTC chart, okay? Of course, that's the bullish case scenario, right? The bearish case scenario is that now we've broken this low here, right? And any attempt to go above will be thwarted by the last order block, which is around about here. Okay, so we could potentially see something like this. We go up to about 75,000 sats, and then it gets rejected. Okay, if it does so, and if it gets a rejection here, that's a good entry for a short, and we'll be targeting, well, first of all, this first level here, okay, around about 72,000 sats, but potentially this year's VWAP, around about there, okay, 69,000 sats. All right, so this is a take profit area, and then the price could continue lower down here, and this would be another take profit area. Okay, and then at this trend line, I'll be looking to stalk a long position. All right, as you can see, it's been respected many times. All right, and even when it peaked below, it was basically just a deviation, and we've rallied from there. Okay, so I expect this trend line to hold as support for the foreseeable future, but you know, there's a few things in between. All right, so that's basically what I'm saying here, is that the bearish case scenario is that we have indeed broke market structure here. This was the previous low, right? We've broken below it, and now if we get all the way up top of this range here on the daily, right, which is probably going to be a little bit more visible on the 4 hour here, right? If we cannot break above these highs here, right, meaning we get a rejection at the top of this range here, which is around about 75,000 sats. If we get rejected at 75,000 sats, then I think potentially we could see this level down here around about 70,000. Okay, so that's quite simple. Break above that. Okay, so if you break above this like this and confirm that this is indeed support, and I think it's off to the races, and we're going to be targeting these levels up here. All right, so it's quite simple, really. All right, so again, like I said, this could be just a standard a little deviation here, and we could be on our way to go up. But just in case that is definitely a break in market structure, you have to keep an eye on a rejection of the top of this range. Okay, so let's say that the range here is exactly at 75,000 sats. Okay, so round about there. All right, so that's basically what I'm saying. All right, so reject here, and we're going to go much lower, right, like this. Accept above, and we're going to go much higher, and we'll target these levels up here. All right, it's quite simple, really. So that's Ethereum versus BTC. So now we're ready to move on to the DeFi coins. And again, just a quick reminder that all the technical analysis that I do for these coins, right, for DeFi coins and for Ethereum, is pretty much null and void if Bitcoin has other plans, right? So if Bitcoin decides to dump, everything else is going to dump with it. All right, so just please bear that in mind. All right, so this is FODL versus USDT, and this is on OkEx. You can see that there's a large sort of lack of liquidity in this exchange, and that's what causes all of these wicks. Okay, so basically large orders being filled, and it just runs through the whole of the order book until it clears the whole order book basically before it returns back to the mean, and that's basically what we're seeing here. I still haven't got an explanation to what happened here. There's a large sell volume there that we saw on Friday. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch the technical analysis update from Friday. It's got the timestamps, and you'll see what I mean. But I still haven't got any word on that. But we've got strong support around about here, where we are now, at around about 14 cents. Okay, and basically what we want to see FODL kind of bounce here, right? Or at least, even if it's consolidating here, we don't want to lose this level at 14 cents. Okay, if we do lose it, that's basically all-time lows, and we'll be looking at sort of big round numbers such as 13, 12, 11, and 10 cents for the next levels of support. Okay, next level of resistance is clearly this one here, around about 18 cents. Okay, 18 cents is the first level of resistance here, and then obviously this level here around about 22 cents. Okay, I don't like really doing technical analysis update on this particular chart, so let's have a look at FODL versus USDC. And on FODL versus USDC, it's a little bit clearer, and I've also drawn a few levels already. Okay, so we've lost that first standard deviation of the VWAP. We haven't really quite tested this area here, but this is why I expect to find a bounce in. Okay, I expect to find a bounce here around about 15 cents. Okay, if we find a bounce here, then we're probably going to range in between this orange line and the red line. Okay, so between 15 and 16 cents. Okay, and this could be a I'm just going to clear the chart to make this a little bit clearer. A lower time frame range, if you like, doing something like this. Okay, of course, if we lose this level here, then we'll move lower, and this will be the next level of support. So then of course we'll be looking at this kind of range here. All right, break above this one. If we're just trending sideways and we break above it, then the next level of resistance, and this is a significant one, is around about 20 cents, 18 cents, something like that. Okay, you can see here there's a VWAP. There's also a edge of a high volume cluster here. In fact, I'm going to adjust that because you can see it's moved slightly, right? Not that one. I want to move this level here, right? So it's fairly close to that VWAP, and that's the next level of resistance. Okay, so but if we do, however, break above this level here, then I think we've got a very good chance to go and test this level here. Okay, so you just have to play it by ear, level to level. Okay, there's no point of panicking and thinking, oh my god, everything's going to dump, the traditional markets are dumping, Bitcoin's dumping, everything's dumping. Okay, it's good to keep it in mind, this context, but we trade level to level. All right, so for now, like I said, the range is this one here. Break below it, this is the next target. Break above it, and this is the next target. Moving on to FODL versus ETH, wrapped ETH, if you like. I'm going to take these brush marks off, all these squiggles, and you can see here, that's basically what I was talking about on Friday, and in the last 5 minutes, big buy order here, okay, which shows up on OkEx as a sell order. So I'm sure this is kind of like there's a little bit of foul play there, I believe, but I'll have to double check that. I think somebody tried to liquidate someone, or maybe this is a basis trade where they're just kind of arbing between prices. I'm not entirely sure, but it's showing up as a big buy volume here on sushiswap, and it's showing up as a big sell volume on OkEx. So we'll have to see what happens there. But regardless of that, right now we are trading again back inside of this range. Okay, so this is holding as support here, and this one should hold as resistance. So again, the range is between these 2 points. Okay, so we just kind of trade sideways like this for the time being. All right, any significant dump on Bitcoin, then I think we're probably going to see much lower prices, and we'll retrace the whole of this candle back to these levels down here. So perhaps this one here, and maybe even this one down here. All right, if we break above that and we find a little bit of strength, then this is a significant level. As you can see here, there's a first standard deviation of the yearly VWAP, and if we can break above that, then this is the next level, and there's the yearly VWAP here, and then there's also this level here that I'd be interested in trading. Okay, but for now, like I said, we just stay within this range here. All right, so that's basically what we're seeing right now. Moving on, let's go and have a look at Binance coin, or BNB if you like, versus USD. Right, so basically this level here didn't quite hold as expected, so I'm just going to delete that. In fact, I'm going to put it as red because I expect this to be a little bit of resistance there, because you can see there's a low volume area there from this particular range, right? So if I do it like this, move this up slightly like that, that's the edge of a balance area. So it's previous resistance, previous resistance, previous resistance. So let's see, now we've lost that level. Obviously Bitcoin pulled back, so it pulled everything down with it, and now we're below this level here, which is around about $400. So that's a significant level, right? 400 is a big round number, and as we know, the prices tend to gravitate towards those. All right, so if we can reclaim here $400, okay, we need to get above this yearly VWAP here around about $410 in order to go to this level here. All right, but for now it looks like we've bounced here around about 389. In fact, we bounced at around about 382. Okay, and we still haven't taken this resistance. So rather than overcomplicating it, I'm just going to show you what the range is. For now, the range is inside of this, okay, potentially deviating all the way to this VWAP here, right? But this is the range here. All right, if we break below it, then I think this is the next level of support, around about $360. Okay, so as you can see, we bounced there a couple of times, but you get really big long wicks on BNB. Okay, so this is not an exact science. You can see that this wick in particular visited 2 levels of support, okay, before reclaiming that. So you just have to keep that in mind. This is a big wick as well. All right, I might just take this VWAP off so that it becomes a little bit clearer of where we are in terms of ranges. Okay, so this level here has acted as support now. Okay, a break above these highs here, you know, basically means that we would, so if we're ranging here, break above this, we potentially go to this level here. right? But we need to break above these highs in order to show me that strength, right? Okay, at these highs I'll be looking for shorts, and I'll be looking at this level now to act as support, $400. Okay, so this is between $400 and $450, but these highs here are significant. There's previous resistance at around about $420. Okay, and I know it sounds like a meme because it's 420, but that's perhaps why people are just obsessed with certain numbers, right? So for the time being, $400 is indeed resistance, and 380 so far acted as support. But this is a break in market structure. So this was a low, this is a higher low, and now we broke that market structure. So even if we come all the way up here, we could see a rejection and then go much lower, okay? And if that's the case, then I think this is the range that we'll be trading in. Right now we're kind of like inside of this range here, right? Between these two levels. Right, break above this one, we go to there. Break below this one, we go to this one. Moving on to Binance versus BTC. Interesting. So, we've kind of been rejected now twice from back inside of this range. So it's telling me that it wants to stay above here. So potentially we're going to be ranging in here. Alright, so between 10,000 sats and 10,600 sats. Alright, so this is the range that you want to be trading in. Okay, so this could potentially, if this looks like a clear rejection from this bottom range here. Right, so if we're looking at this as one range, as one balance area, this is a clear rejection here. And it's printing higher lows. So, I think there's a very good case here for a long position targeting these highs here, okay, on Binance. Again, if we find acceptance below, meaning if we lose this level and then we come and test it and find that this is indeed a rejection, then I'll be taking shorts and I'll be targeting this level down here, okay, because this is a big balance area, and I think this is basically where we crumble and go all the way back down to the bottom of the range. Alright, but for now we're not seeing evidence of that, okay? The evidence that we're seeing is that this wants to push higher, as you can see here, okay? Clear rejection, and then if we find acceptance here, that means we go up to the top there. Alright, so range here, this is resistance, this is support. Break below it, this is the next level of support. Of course, there's a few levels here that you should be taking profit at. Okay, so particularly this one that has confluence with the equilibrium of the range, or the midpoint of the range, if you like. So you should be taking profits if it enters into a short like this, right? But if it breaks below, it goes to this level, and perhaps take profits here if you're in a short. If it breaks above, then this is the next level here. And if it breaks above this one, then we're entering a whole new volume cluster here, and you want to see acceptance inside of this. Okay, so basically coming from lower prices, he wants to break inside with strength and conviction, and then he wants to find support back inside of that. Okay, so then this level here is indeed support. Okay, so yeah, I think we just range inside of this range here, this blue rectangle for now. Moving on to Binance versus ETH. Same situation, right? So we broke out of this balance area, came down here, we found the rejection here, and we bounced above it. And kind of like we're in the midpoint now, if you like, right? So if I was to put this here, right? So this is the top of the range, the bottom of the range. The midpoint is basically where we're finding resistance here. So let me just take these brush marks off. Right, so we either get rejected here and we go and test the bottom of the range again, or we find acceptance above and we go and test the top, right? So this is the range for now. Break above it, this is the next level of resistance, and this previous resistance here becomes support. So this will be the next levels. Okay, the next range, if you like. So at the moment we're just tapping at resistance constantly, so this is bullish. Okay, we're tapping at resistance. There's not much in the way of rejections. Okay, it's not rejection like this one. This is a strong rejection. It went straight back to the middle. Okay, this is tapping, 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 and it's not doing anything, right? There's no rejection there. So to me, this means that it shows me that it wants to go higher. So if I was to bet here, I want to see confirmation, of course. But if I was to bet here where this is going to go, I think this is going to do something like this, breaks above, and very quickly goes to the top of the range here. Okay, once we get there, I think we will be holding this level here as a new range. Okay. Overall, of course, this is the wider range, right, on a weekly or whatever. But I'm just sort of like giving you insights of what's going to happen sort of this week or so. All right. So don't get obsessed about this. Okay, we want to see confirmation. So a break above, and then confirmed this as support, because a break above and then straight back inside the range, this is an entry for a short. Okay, so let me just clarify this. This is resistance. This is showing as support, right? We break above it and confirm this. That's basically an entry for a long down here, and we target this level here. A deviation above and then fall back inside the range. For me, it's retest this level here is basically an entry for a short, and I'll be targeting this level here. Okay, so back inside the range and then retest of the top edge. That's the entry for the short. So that's what I'm seeing here on Binance versus ETH. We're kind of in a halfway point, right? Moving on to AAVE versus USD. Well, like you see here from the previous squiggles, it's very much the same thing. Okay, so this level is still holding as support. This level here is holding as resistance, and we just kind of range in between these two levels. Okay, we break below this with conviction, right? Means that we're going to test this level here, and this now becomes resistance. If we break above it, then this level here is resistance, and the previous level of resistance will be support. Okay, so range 1, the range that we're at right now, and then range 2. Okay, so this level, sorry, this range, or this range. Okay, that's what we're seeing right now. I hope that makes it clear. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible, but we're trading here. Break above it, this is the next level of resistance. Break below it, this is the next level of support. Okay, so previous support turns to resistance, and on the same hand, previous resistance turns to support if we break above it. Okay, that's what I was trying to explain. Moving on, so that's AAVE versus USD. Okay, obviously you can see here this is $200. Okay, so this resistance is actually quite a strong level, and it's not surprising that we failed to take it quite a few times now. All right, so $160 as support, and if we lose that, or 150 if you like, if you lose that, then we're going to go much lower to 135 and potentially 112. AAVE versus BTC. If you look at Friday's technical analysis update, this was just really to illustrate how this really works, you know. I said to you guys that it looked like we're having a rejection there, and I said I'm going to leave this tool here, the risk reward, for a trade for a short, right? And I would put the stop loss above this previous week. Well, as you can see, if I'd have taken this short, it would have played out. It didn't quite get to my full target yet, which is basically down here. Okay, so this green line here didn't quite get there, but it's not over yet. Okay, so but I would have definitely taken profit if I was in this trade, right? So basically where it bounced, if you look over to your right, it's right on the edge of this high volume cluster, right? But I was looking at this low volume node here as the take profit. All right, so sometimes it just doesn't, you know, it's just a general area. It's not the exact level. Don't get too obsessed about certain numbers or whatever. It's just a general area. However, it does look like it's bouncing here. So let me just delete all these brush marks. Okay, and I'm going to delete that short position as well. The clear thing is that we've definitely entered a new balance area. Okay, so it's basically this blue rectangle. So for now, I do think that we kind of trade inside of here. All right, so this is going to be resistance, and this is going to be support. Right, we're looking at this range here. Right, so let me just get this level here. Okay, so now we've got that red line there showing us that it is indeed resistance. Okay, make it a little bit thicker. So this is the range that I'm looking for right now. Okay, so even if this retraces the whole way, this is resistance and this is support. Break below this one and we go to the bottom of the range. Right, this is strong support down here. If we break above this one, then we've still got this level of resistance here and then this level here. Okay, for now, like I said, I expect the price to just rotate between these two levels. Moving on to AAVE versus ETH. I'm going to delete those scribbles as well. So we've entered this balance area. Okay, so we're not ranging inside of that one. We broke below this area, which was supposed to be a support level. Okay, as you can see here, the price acted as resistance. We broke above it, confirmed this as support a couple of times. So I expected this to rotate inside of those levels. However, we've just lost that level, so now that is resistance, and the next level of support is this one. So this is now the range that I expect this price to be, this asset to be trading in. Okay, so somewhere between 500 way and 580 way. Okay. Where is that brush mark? There it is. Okay, so now I expect the price, even if it comes all the way up here, to just find resistance at that low volume area and rotate inside of there. Break above this one, we go to this level here, we break below this one here, and we go and test these levels down here. Okay, you can see here, strong consolidation, so this is probably good support, this level here. Alright, so just bear that in mind, okay, if you're in a short. Right, so I'll just put that one there. So that's AAVE versus ETH. Let's move on to Compound versus USD. Okay, so look at how it bounces perfectly on that point of control there. You can see here I've got a volume, fixed volume profile, right? So the price would have been here on the 22nd of April on Friday, which is basically where I did my last TA update, and I said that we're on our way to this level of support here, and that's exactly where we are. And the next level of resistance will be this one here. Okay, so this is strong support because it's also the point of control of the range. So now we should be doing something like this. Okay, if we lose the bottom level, then we go to this level here. If we lose the top level, or if we can break above the top level, then this is the next level of resistance. Okay, so right now $120 is support, 143 is resistance. Break above that, 168 is resistance. Break below 120 and you've got 113 and potentially $100 as the next levels of support. Moving on to Compound versus BTC. Well, this is resistance until proven otherwise, and this is support. So very much like I've drawn here, we're just kind of rotating inside of that. Alright, so there's no need for me to sort of like redraw it again. You guys can see exactly what's going on here, right? So basically we're just trading inside of this range here. Alright, so just go sideways until proven otherwise. Break below it, these next levels of support here. I think there's some trapped bears there. You can see here a nice big red candle there, right? So if we do break below this range, sorry, I'll redo that again. If we break below the range low, okay, you can see that there's plenty of trap bears there, high volume sell order at these, or sell candle at these levels here. So I expect this level here, I've put here trapped bears. Look, okay, these trap sellers will want to exit at break even, and so this will bounce from there. Okay, so I expect this to be very strong support as well. Okay, and for the time being, this is resistance, right? Break above that and we go on to the next level of resistance. Simple as that. And then rotate again somewhere in there like that. Okay, if we break below this level here, then the next level will be something like this. All right, for the time being, we're inside of this range. Moving on to compound versus ETH, I believe. Okay, so we are kind of going just below this level here, so I'm just going to put this as yellow because I'm not really sure if we've just lost that level or not. It does look like we've lost that level. Okay, so this could potentially, let me put back the VPVR. In fact, I'm going to move that here because that's the edge of this high volume cluster. Okay, you can see here I'm on the edge of these volume bars here, and that's exactly where the price is bounced, right? So just adjust that slightly. So yeah, for the time being, we're still trading inside of there. So I'm going to put this as green. This bounce is acted as support. Okay, so this is the range that we're trading in. Resistance, this is support. Break above this level of resistance, we go into the next level, which is also a low volume area. Break below this level of support, we go into the next level, which is this here, which also is, you can see, a low volume area. So like that. In fact, it's already bounced there already. Okay, so you can see that clearly. All right, so that's the range there between this level of support and this level is resistance. Break below it, this is the next support. Break above it, this is the next resistance. Moving on to BAT versus USD. Well, self-explanatory really. We're still kind of halfway through this trade, which is basically, this is a short entry here. We kind of tried to get above this level of resistance, we couldn't, and so it confirmed that this is indeed resistance, and now we're on our way to this level down here. Okay, so at this bottom here, you'd be looking to buy, and again, we're looking at this range to trade in. Okay, so something like this. All right, so somewhere between 63 cents and 79 cents. Okay, break below this one, then I think we're going to have a new range. We're going to go to this level here, and we'll be looking to trade inside of this range. If we break above resistance, however, we're going to be looking to trade this range here. Okay, between these 2 points, between 79 and 89. But for the time being, we haven't even tapped this level of support here. So I think this is where it's going to go next. Okay, so halfway. Don't enter this trade right now. We're in the middle of. It's already halfway through. This is where you should have entered. Okay, so right now this could bounce here and go all the way to resistance again. So you don't want to be entering in the middle of the range. So anyway, that's a BAT versus BTC, 63 cents as support, 79 cents as resistance. With BAT versus Bitcoin, very much the same situation. We kind of tried to get back to this resistance. We couldn't even tap it. It's showing a little bit of weakness. We are trading sideways here, but on the grand scale of things, I mean, you can see here there's a low volume area. So you could argue that this is indeed support here. Let's just put a little temporary level there. Why not? Okay. Consider there's a little mini range inside of that, and if we break below this one, we go to the next level. Right, so let me just delete a few so it's not so confusing. Okay, so this is basically what we are expecting right now. Trade inside of that range, break above it, and I think say that this is resistance too. Right, the edge of this high volume cluster there. Break below it, and I think we're going to go to the next level here. Okay, so this is the lower range, this is the mid range where we are right now, and if we break above it, then this would be the top range to be trading in. Okay, so that's where we are on BAT versus BTC. BAT versus ETH, we've lost that level of support now. It's very close, so I'm just going to put it as orange for now, but it does look like it wants to reach lower. Okay, of course it could just be a standard, not standard, just a deviation to the downside like we've seen here. It does look like it's a deviation and a reclaim of that level, but however it does look like it's pulling back as well. So if Ethereum starts to look strong here and BAT isn't, then it will lag behind and it will come all the way down here. So this is potentially the next range to be trading in. Okay, I think it does look like that already, actually. All right, so this could potentially be resistance now, and this level here as support. Okay, if we reclaim this level again, then I think we trade back inside of this range here. All right, so I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Just like I did here already. Okay, it does look like we've just lost that, so this could be potentially a good entry for a short with a stop loss just above this level here, so somewhere around about 2,492, so something like this. Short position here, the stop would be somewhere above there, and you'll be targeting the next level of support. That's a 2.4 hour trade. Okay, 2.4 hour trade. Okay, could even be a little bit more conservative and make it a lot tighter stop loss. Okay, I'm going to leave that there and just see if that plays out, just like I did with the other trade. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing right now on BAT versus Ethereum. Obviously that's null and void if we reclaim this level here, and that means we go to the next level of resistance. Link versus USD. So yeah, we're still kind of trading inside of this range now. Okay, so we're kind of like, this is the top of the range, resistance, this is support, and we're kind of trading inside of that. All right, break above it, and we start trading inside of this range here, smaller range. If we break below the level of support, if support breaks, then this will be the next range to be trading in. Okay, so again, don't forget that most of these assets do impulse, range, okay, so just bear that in mind. All right, however, if this now acts as support, this could be yeah, no, I don't think so. I think level to level. I was going to look at this whole thing as a range, so looking at this whole thing here as a range, but I'm not sure I like that. I prefer this like this. I think we've lost that level there, and I think we're going to go and test these levels down here. So I think this is the range here, and if we break below it, then we go to the next, and if we break above it, we go to the next there. Okay, so that's Link versus USD. So we're looking at $11.50 as support and $13.80 as resistance. Moving on to Link versus BTC. Very clear range there. We just delete those squiggles. Okay, clear range. And a good opportunity for a long, I believe. Okay, so I'll be looking at a long position here. I'll be putting my stops just below that wick there, That basically is my validation. The price has no business coming anywhere near that tip of the wick again, and I'll be targeting the top of the range there. That's a 6.6 R trade. Alright, so I'm going to leave that as it is, but I do expect the price to just do something like this, go all the way to the top now, and then just kind of rotate inside of this range on a higher time frame. So you can see here, sellers are stepping in, buyers are stepping in. Alright, buy low, sell high. Decent trade there on Chainlink versus BTC. Link versus ETH. This is the one that finally broke down, and here we are. We're just testing this level of support. It's tested it already a couple of days ago. I've highlighted it there. So this could potentially just be ranging here for a little while now, and just range in between these two levels here. Alright, break above it, and then this is going to be significant resistance. Alright, and if we break below it, then it's a long way down. But yeah, I do think that we could potentially see a little bit of a ranging price action happening on Chainlink versus Ethereum here. Okay, so that's the range you want to be trading in. Alright, this one here. I'll put another rectangle in there, just to make it easy to spot. Yeah, I think that one there. So finally, moving on to Uniswap. I'm going to delete all those squiggles. And it hit almost to the dollar there, as you can see there, right? So again, this is support, this is resistance, so the price is naturally going to range between the high and the low. Okay, if we lose this level to the downside, I expect this level here to act as strong support, $7.50. If, however, this is $8 of support, okay? So if we lose that, $7.50 is the next level of support. If we break above resistance, go on to the next level, then $10.55 is the next level of resistance, potentially $11.50, okay? If we're looking at a wider range, okay, like that. But I'm looking at these sort of low volume areas here and trading those. Yeah. That's basically it. Okay, so we're looking at this range here as well. Alright, so 3 ranges there, but for now this is support and this is resistance. Moving on to Uni versus BTC, and this is quite telling. We have fallen out of the previous balance, and we're testing this area here. Okay, so that's basically where support is. So we had a bounce. This is in the middle of nowhere, right? So basically what we want to see, we want to see a reclaim of this level here, okay, for a potential long, targeting this level here as resistance. Okay, so that basically means that this range here would be at play, right? However, if we lose that level, it looks like we've just lost it, right? And then we come and test the edge like this, and it's confirmed that this is indeed resistance, then the next level of resistance, this will be the next level of resistance, and the next level of support will be down here. So that would be the next range. Okay, at the moment, let's have a look at the 4 hour to be a little bit clearer. Alright, so this is actually significant to me. If we look at the 4 hour, you can see clearly, okay, there's a high volume buy candle there, that it took us back inside of the next range, but we got rejected there very clearly, and now high sell volume into this level here, right? And we are unable to break above this low volume area here, okay? Break above the balance. So for me, this looks like acceptance. So I'm going to put a little short position trade there like that. And I'll potentially put the stop loss above this range here, okay? And I'll be targeting those levels down there. Okay, there's a significant low volume area there. So actually what I will do is, you can see that there. So what I'll do is I'll actually put sort of bang in the middle like that. And I'll put another level of support there. Okay. Okay, so this is what I'm betting on, that we're going to go a little bit lower. Okay, put the stop loss just above that. The price has got no business going above these wicks. All right, so on the 4 hour it's very clear. As you can see, this is an entry for a short here, and I'll be targeting this as the next level of support, and then this as the next level of resistance. So it'll be a range that will look something like this. Okay, so that's Uni versus Bitcoin on the 4 hour. Alright, of course, invalidation of this trade is if we reclaim this level here and then we break above this range. That would take out my stop loss, and it means that we'll be targeting this level up here. Alright, so that's Uni versus Bitcoin. Uni versus ETH. Let's look at the daily because this is a bit fragmented. And quite simply, we've just broken below this level here, right? So I think this here is now the range that we'll be trading in. All right, if this is just a deviation and we kind of like reclaim it, then this is the range that we'll be trading in. All right, but for now it does look like we're just going to go and test this level here, confirm that this is indeed resistance, and then just dump lower. All right, that's kind of what I'm expecting to see happen right now on Uni versus ETH. So again, 3 very clear ranges. Okay, if we break above it, we trade inside of here. It looks like we've broken below it. If we confirm that this now is resistance, we go to the next level of support, and we'll be trading inside of here like that. Okay, that's what we're seeing right now on Uniswap versus Ethereum. So I think that is it for now in terms of, I think I've covered all of the DeFi coins that you guys usually ask me. There's no requests on the chat room. So yeah, I think that is it for now. Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin and see if it's dumped a little bit more. And yeah, it does look like it wants to find acceptance inside of this range. Okay, so if we're doing the same type of analysis that we're doing on the altcoins, then I think that this here is the next range now. Okay, and break above it, and this will be the next range, right? And if we break below this, and this is the next range. Okay, quite simple really. Alright, so I hope this was useful. I'll have another TA update for you guys on Wednesday. In the meantime, trade smart, and I hope this kind of helps you stay on the right side of the trades. Okay, take care, bye bye.